So I basically just prepared a small presentation and then a demo of the application itself and what it does. And then from there, we just take questions from whoever has questions, inshallah. Okay, it's now 03. Okay, I think we're gonna start, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As I said, we'll start. A lot of numbers jumped in, alhamdulillah. This is an information session regarding QuranBook. Alhamdulillah, QuranBook is developed to try and make the lives of Hifth schools and Hifth teachers easier. So alhamdulillah, we'll just do a short presentation today, and then we'll have a testimonial from one of the schools that have used QuranBook for the whole of last year or most part of last year. And then we'll have a demonstration of what QuranBook actually does and how does it work. And then from there, we'll basically take questions, and then we'll also give you what the next steps are and how to start, or to get started in using the application, inshallah. So it is 10:05, so inshallah I will start with the presentation. Shukran everyone for taking the time out and to come and have a look at what QuranBook is and to discover it. So inshallah, basically the idea of QuranBook is to streamline communication so that parents are always on track of what's happening with their students and to keep track of progress of students. So those are the two main factors that we've discovered over our research that most Hifth schools need in order to thrive. So a little bit about QuranBook. So as I mentioned now, QuranBook is basically an application made for Hifth schools, like it's specific. Like there's no other school that's made for it specifically for Hifth schools. And the objective is to improve communication between teachers and parents and in tracking student progress in Quran studies. And basically, before we embarked on the journey of QuranBook, what happened was, alhamdulillah, I've been doing software development now for more than 10 years. And I've worked in a variety of industries, like from finance to security to education. And about 9 years ago, I built a software called EduSystem. It's a school management system that schools were using. It's mainly in the Western Cape. And what happened was in December of 2021, I have a close friend, and he mentioned that he needs a way to keep track of information that basically like student information and communicate it to parents. And he knew, because we were very close, he knew that EduSystem did this. He was a Hifth teacher, and he knew that EduSystem, the school management system, did this. And he mentioned that he wanted to use it in his Hifth school. And I told him, this is not possible because EduSystem is made for Hifth schools, and it's going to be cumbersome for you to actually start using it in a Quran school, in a Hifth school. So I told him, you know what, let's rather take the time to build you out a specific application just for your school. And then from there, we basically see if it's something that you're happy with and it's something that you wanna go ahead with. And he mentioned, you know what, let's try. And then we tried it. So in December 2021, we started the development of QuranBook. And in February, when his school started, he had the first version of QuranBook. And alhamdulillah, it worked wonders. So that he could capture information. And as he's done capturing, the parents get the information of the student progress and everything. And the parents were sending feedback of how the app helped them and how basically, like one of the feedbacks that we got, the initial feedback was that one parent mentioned that her child, when he comes home at night and she takes the book and she looks at it and he made a bunch of mistakes, she generally responds in a way that is not very pleasing, like she will maybe scale him or, like things like that. So what QuranBook allowed her to do is she get the information in the morning and then she gets to ponder and think about it. Like, why is my child struggling? Why maybe he didn't know his work? And then by the time the child comes home, she's calm and she can now work out a plan instead of now just like trying to figure out. Because the first thing is, as people, when things don't go our way or don't go the way it's supposed to go, we go through different stages. First shock, grieve, all that, until eventually we accept and then we try to solve the problem. So this, basically her testimonial was that Quran book allowed her to do that. So the challenges that Hifth schools faced in Quran book was that there was gaps in communication between teachers and parents. So sometime one school last year that used Quran book mentioned that at the end of the year, when the parent-teacher meeting came, then one of the parents asked, why doesn't the school send us any communication? And they mentioned, we send you emails, we send you the books, and like, the child, and you sign the books. And he's like, nope, I've never seen that book before. So those are the gaps in communication that exist with Hifth schools that we've met. And also, when parents want to communicate with or teachers want to communicate with parents, they use their personal devices. And the issue with using your personal WhatsApp number and things like that to communicate with parents is that sometimes when parents are going through a difficult time, they put it on the teacher and they start chatting about it. And this now takes a toll on the teacher. Like the teacher has to now worry about the personal lives of the child and the parent, and especially when it's like mixed gender, like the mother is now messaging the teacher, male teacher, and she's now telling about the problems with the husband. And so those are all kinds of things that we've heard teachers have mentioned to us. And basically we wanted to avoid using personal devices for communication. And then also with the challenges that Quran books, the Quran schools or Hifth schools face is lack of long-term progress. So yes, you have the book, but now when the book gets full, what happens is the book gets shelved, or the book is left at home, or it's just gone, or it goes into the recycling and you get a new book. But now you don't have a nice overview of the child's entire journey. You just have a rough idea what this child is going through. And then also, as you mentioned, difficulties in tracking student progress. Like, how can you say specifically with a school of 100 or 50 that this child is moving at 2 juz a week or 2 juz a month or 1 juz a month? Like, you don't have any information to guide you and allow you to track student progress. Right? So that was the challenges that Hifth schools have faced. Now, basically, over our research, which I mentioned started in December, we visited schools in Johannesburg and in Cape Town. And we basically sat down with Hifth schools for hours and talking about their challenges, how they overcome the challenges, and what are the things they put in place. So, for instance, some schools, what they do is to overcome the challenge of parents accessing teachers directly, they created for every parent, they have a WhatsApp group. For every child, they have a WhatsApp group. So all the parents are in there. So all communications are just in the group. No communications with the parent directly, or the teacher directly, because that obviously now crosses some boundaries. And then some other schools, what they did with in terms of the Quran, the door book, is when the kids take it home, sometimes the door book doesn't come back. So what they did is they developed a strategy with 2 books. And basically the one book goes home and the one book stays, but now that gives the teacher more admin. The teacher must constantly write in one book and write in another book for the child to take home and come back. So basically they had unique ways in solving issues. And some schools, they had the idea of having a monthly track sheet or a weekly track sheet and keeping track of information so that they can basically, they file that every month. And when parents come, they can show the parents. Right? So those are how schools overcame those challenges, which were very unique and which were very genius in the resources they had available to them. Alhamdulillah. So basically what we've done is, over the 2 years that we've done our research, we sat down and we carefully try to understand how we can develop an application that tries and solves everything, right? And basically we came up with the Quran book. And what Quran book does is it allows you to capture lessons in a variety of different formats. You can capture Jews, you can capture Jews in quarters, you can capture new lessons, you can capture recent lessons, you can capture whatever you want to capture. It's basically very flexible, right? And also it allows you to keep track of students over a long period of time. So like one school that's been using it now, they can come 2 months later, 3 months, a year later, and they can see what the child did in March last year, what the child did in April last year, just by clicking around a few buttons, and you see everything, right? And then it's a source of truth for all involved. So basically, the parent, the teacher, they don't have to contact each other the whole time. They can just go log into the app and they can see the information of their child or of the student. And in that way, it avoids this redundant communication, right? Because the teacher is a person. They have a life outside of teaching Hifth. They have a family, they have friends, they have other things they need to do. So constantly being in touch with parents, chatting to parents, it can take a toll on teachers. So set targets. So QuranBook allows teachers now to set targets for students, daily targets, weekly targets, monthly targets, whatever targets you want to set. And then it also allows you to keep track of juz completions. And it also gives you a nice graphs to visualize what is happening within a class, with the student and things like that. So basically, this is now the point where we have our testimonial. Sheikh Muneer Satardien. I saw him on the call. I'm not seeing him on my screen now. So basically, I'll stop talking now, and I will let Sheikh Muneer basically just explain how he used QuranBook and just give feedback on his usage of QuranBook. Is Sheikh still with us?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, the floor is yours, Sheikh.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفاه صلاة وسلاما على من اصطفاه محمد وآله ومن والاه. Alhamdulillah, as Sheikh Abdullah has stated, we have been using QuranBook for quite a while, alhamdulillah, and the journey was amazing because it was hand in hand with Sheikh Abdullah. He is very keen to take on board input from those who are actually using it. So what we would do is where we'd find something which I would say lacking, but not really lacking, but we'd find a way to improve, easier way to search a student for example. We'd be able to speak to Sheikh Abdullah, and immediately within a couple of days he'd let me know, Sheikh, the update is available and it's done. And alhamdulillah, over the journey, Sheikh Abdullah has come up with an app that simplifies the way that we record our data and how we communicate with parents as well. Because of the fact that, firstly, I think Sheikh will be going through the intricacies of the app itself. So I'm not going to expound too much on that, but just an example. We had a student who was reading Juz 15, and as every other school out there, we have a certain benchmark. If you make more than that amount of mistakes, especially told mistakes, where the teacher has to correct you, we then render that juz incomplete and you have to repeat it again. And for 3 consecutive days, the student made a certain amount of mistakes, which I said, look, this is impossible. You cannot move to the next juz. And then I spoke to the teacher. I said, look, we have the capabilities to break the juz up in quarters where the data isn't collected, how many mistakes are made in every single quarter. And then we found out for the first 3 quarters, the recitation was absolutely fluent, alhamdulillah, and only the last quarter that needed attention. And then we focused, we said, okay, for the next day, you only bring that quarter. And she consolidated it. And then the next day, she read the entire juz out with a satisfactory amount of errors. So alhamdulillah, it gives us the ability to track, and then also we are able to see exactly the progress round and round or juz when she completed or the student completes the juz. Is it better the next round or is it then slacking? And also communication with parents, as Sheikh Abdullah said, there were a lot of gaps. And my QuranBook, according to us, filled those gaps to the point that there is open communication. Every single parent on a daily basis understands exactly what my child is doing, what he has accomplished for the day, or the lack thereof. So it also brings you in the clear so that after a term, a parent is not asking you, but why didn't I know? Why is my child not progressing? Why didn't I know? This gives you feedback on a daily basis. Your child didn't know. And then obviously as it becomes habit, you can escalate them to calling the parent in, having a meeting, and then making sure that there are certain changes going about. And then what we found also, alhamdulillah, it simplified our examinations. subhanallah, so simply. Normally we'd have the page for each student, fill in, then we have to record it. This was just using the app, marking the verse from which verse they read until which verse, recording every single question, the amount of mistakes, told, stuck, read mistakes, whatever we had as our criteria. And alhamdulillah, we could then just take that mark and put it in the report. So for us as an institution, alhamdulillah, we found extreme benefit therein. And I really trust that it will be able to benefit every single school, Hifth School, to simplify, because as teachers, we are always so busy trying to get the best out of the child, and there's no time for admin or writing in books. Alhamdulillah, this simplifies it. And Allah bless Sheikh Abdullah and the journey, and may it grow from strength to strength. Ameen. But my little input for today is that my Quran book has really benefited us as an institution, and it has taken us from the paper age into the digital age, alhamdulillah. And with that comes a lot of ease. Yes, at first there's a bit of understanding the app, but the app, it reminds you, so it's basically stored. It's there forever, or as long as Sheikh Abdullah keeps on the service, it's there, alhamdulillah. For example, we had the trick of, I'm going to come with a new Quran, new teacher, new Quran. So that gives me at least a week of holiday where I can read old sabak. All we did was basically transfer the daughter from teacher 1 to teacher 2, and he could see on the app, hold it, but you're reading now from the first maqra of the juz, but here the app shows that you already finished 7 maqras. So what's going on here? So it allows us to stay on top of things, alhamdulillah. Sheikh Abdullah, I think from my side, if there's anything else you need me to add, but I think I've said my say. Barakallahu feekum.
Shukran, Sheikh. Shukran, alhamdulillah. Sheikh Muneer is always that person, mashallah, that has built the application. Like, I'm the developer, the one that writes the code to make the app function. But Sheikh Muneer was that captain, that leader that showed us, what, this is what we want, this is what we need, this is what will work best for us. And alhamdulillah, over the last year, we truly appreciate all your input, Sheikh. It literally made QuranBook what it is today. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for that tremendously. Ameen, ameen.
Ameen, barakallahu feekum.
Shukran for that, Sheikh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you tremendously. We'll continue, inshallah. So that is Sheikh Muneer's testimonial. And the next part is, I think, what everyone has come here for is, how does it work? How does it look? What does it do? So I'm basically just going to quickly run through QuranBook, some features of it. So as we mentioned earlier, one of the main features is it allows you to capture lessons in a variety of formats. So let me know if you can see the screen of QuranBook on. Everybody, is the PowerPoint still showing, or is QuranBook showing? Just get an indication. Okay, I see I get a thumbs up. QuranBook is showing. So this is what QuranBook looks like when you log on as a teacher. So it is made for the phone. It is made for a laptop. You can download it on your phone. You can download it on your laptop. You can even go as far as downloading it on your TV. If you want to have like a TV in your Hifth School, then you have the dashboard displaying everything. So however you want to do it, you can download QuranBook on whatever device you want. Alhamdulillah, we try to make it in that way. So basically, when you log in, you will see a button that tells you search for a student. So if a student sits in front of you and you don't know what class they are in, or you have multiple classes and you want to just search for the student, you can just come and you can just type their name, and basically it will give you options, and you can just click on the student and it will give you the student information. As you can see, the student has no lessons captured, and you can basically do a couple of things here. But let's go back to the dashboard. If you don't want to go through that, you can click on select. So you can basically select the class, select the student in that class. So that's basically the selection process. So before we go through the capturing, let's just go over what QuranBook all has. So there's a dashboard, then it has lessons. Now under lessons, you have lesson history. That basically shows you all the students' lesson history. If you click on again, it takes you back to this section where it shows you the child's name, what they recited, and also how long ago they recited it, and what was the status. Did they complete it or did they not complete? And it shows the teacher's comment, right? And if you click on the lesson itself, it will show you the lesson. It will show you the mistakes and did not complete and the date and everything of that nature. That's basically the lesson history, right? And then the next part we have is something known as analysis, right? So what analysis allows you to do is it shows you basically throughout the whole school, so many new lessons have been captured, so many recent lessons have been captured, and so many old lessons like Dora has been captured. And then if you go further down, you can now look at the boys class, the girls class, and the senior class, and it will show you here so many new lessons, so many recent, so many old. And if you click on the class, it will now show you the total for this class. It will show you the average for this class. It will show you each student, the amount of new lessons captured, the amount of recent lesson, the amount of old lesson, and it will also show you the percentage that they got. So this allows you now to see, oh, this child is maybe very good at giving sabak, maybe very good at memorizing, but they're not very good at retaining. So it gives you that overview that you can see. And you can click further on a student, and it gives you more information, more breakdown, and it gives you all the lessons here, as you can see, all the lessons they've recited in the past. That's basically your analysis section, right? And then we also have something known as targets. Now, targets basically this is just random targets I set. So you can set a target for a student. So it will show you like when it's due, what it is. So you just click on this button, and it will ask you for the information of the target. And you create it, and it creates a target for you. And then more things that we have is juz completion. Now, juz completion basically is the idea when a child completes a juz. This is like a formal way of wrapping it up. So you can, for instance, come to Fatima Ahmed. As you can see, she hasn't completed any ajaza. You can click on start. You can now give a description and maybe say, basically, whatever comment you want to put in here, completing this juz, right? You can say it's in progress. She's not completed it yet, but she's now going to go through the phase of reciting for completion of this juz. You say save, and there it shows. So now it shows you in progress, you're completing the juz. That's the description. You can add a lesson to this. So we're going to come back to adding a lesson, but so I'm going to come back to this. But now I just want to show you more of what it has to offer here. So rounds is something that we are still busy developing. It's almost complete. And exams, we had exams, but we are changing the way we do exams. Right? So the way we did exams was just a normal lesson, but now we want to categorize exams into its own section, inshallah. And then the other thing that we have is people. So people is basically your teachers that are in the school, and then you have your students. So your students, and then also the students' guardians, the parents that are linked to them. So whoever you add here, they will get information regarding the student, right? And I'll show you the parent app soon. And then we got settings. Now, settings is very important. So currently you have classes. So you have a boys class, a girls class, and a senior class. So you can add a new class. Let's call it junior class. Junior class, and you say save, and the class is added, right? And then under settings, we also have indicators. Now, what are indicators? So indicators is basically what you want to mark. Like, what do you want to track of a child? So you will see here there are three things in indicators. You have the name, description, and you have a mark. Now, every child, when they start reciting, they start with 100%. They know their work. So every time they make a mistake, you can set this value. You can say, I want you to deduct, let's say 10% for a mistake. You can say that as a school. You can decide whatever you want. So every time the child makes a mistake, and it will deduct 10%. Every time the child makes a told mistake, it will deduct 3%. A stuck 3%. Tajweed 3%. So you can play around with these values as much as you want and see what is optimal for your school and things like that. So this is basically indicators. This allows you to, these are the things that you can keep track of, right? So now that we understand indicators, people, lessons, let's go and start capturing our first lesson. So we'll go to, let's search for Muhammad Khan. Muhammad Khan, there he is. So this is now Muhammad Khan. So when I click on the student, I can see all the lessons that they have recited in the past, right? Now I can come here and I can say, I can go to targets for him directly from here now, right? And to completions and to rounds and to exams. But we went there already. For now, I'm going to click on start capturing. This is the main button. So when you click on the button start capturing, it asks you, what do you want to capture? Do you want to capture a new lesson, a recent lesson, old lesson? Do you want to capture an exam? Do you want to capture a completion? So let's say we start off with capturing a old lesson. All right. So this is an old lesson that I want to capture. And in this old lesson, basically, I can capture as a juz, I can capture half a juz, I can capture a quarter, I can capture a makra, and I can capture verse to verse. So let's just say a child is reciting a page or something like that for the door. So let's say I go to juz. Now, when I select juz, it will allow me, it will ask me what juz do I want to, is the child going to recite? So I can select juz 3. I say proceed. Now it asks me, how do I want to capture this juz? Do I want to capture it in makras? Do I want to capture it in quarters? Do I want to capture it in halves? Or do I want to capture it as a continuous? So what this basically means is, like when I make a mistake, when I click a mistake, is the mistake going to be assigned to a quarter, or is it just going to be assigned to the juz? So let's go for quarter. That's a nice spot. So I click proceed. Now it's telling me you're going to capture this. You're going to capture juz 3, quarter 1, juz 3, quarter 2, juz 3, quarter 4, juz 3, quarter 3 and 4. I say proceed. Then the teacher sits with this while the child is reciting, right? So as the child is reciting, as you can see here, currently the child is in juz 1, in quarter 1. Now when the child reaches quarter 2, so let's say the child makes a mistake in quarter 1. I press mistake, told, tajweed, repeat. Now the child reaches eventually quarter 2. I click on quarter 2. Now you see there's 0 in quarter 2. Now I can say, okay, that's how you're doing in quarter 2. Now the child reaches quarter 3. I press quarter 3. He just made a told in quarter 3. Now the child reaches the last quarter. And now the child is just like on the first page. He's just going off, like, hacking. And that's fine. So, okay, that's a bit too bad. Let's make it 3, right? So now we have this child, basically we've gone through his entire journey. So now a lesson can be marked as incomplete. So if you decide, I don't think this is good, you can just mark it as incomplete. It will be saved with all the mistakes, but it's not going to be shown in the statistics. It's going to be shown in the statistics, but as incomplete. So now if I'm happy with this, I click proceed. Then it also, now it gives me a table here. It shows me choose 1, the quarter 1, that's the mistakes, the told, the stacks. It gives me a nice table showing me everything, right? And then in here, I can put a comment. And I can maybe say, too many mistakes made, right? I'm going to put another comment here. This is live, right? For everyone to see. This is live. It's a special message. And I say proceed. And when I say proceed, there it pops up there. So now I can see Muhammad Khan. So this gray indicates an old lesson. This green indicates a new lesson. You'll see orange somewhere indicates a recent lesson, like a sabak door. So you can now see too many mistakes made. This is live. That's a comment I made. You can add the comment as long as you want. And if I click on just 3 now, I want to see. And now I see, oh, he got 57%. And yeah, I also get the breakdown of basically everything and the mistakes that he made, right? So that's basically the process of capturing. So now let's say I capture another lesson. Okay, so before I capture another lesson, let's go through what the parent sees. So now that we've captured this, what does the parent actually see? Right? So this is the teacher app. What does the parent see? So now the parent, when they log in, they will see the school. So if a parent has children or kids at multiple schools, they will see all the schools pop up here, and then all the students of that schools pop up here, all their kids for that school. So here we see Muhammad Khan is attached to this parent, right? With a funny name that I gave. And let's now say I click on Muhammad Khan. So now what we automatically see is we have a nice graph here. This graph shows the new lesson that Muhammad Khan has given over the last week. So as you can see here, on the 6th, he's given 0 new lesson. On the 7th, he's given 15 lines of new lesson, right? And then it goes down again, 0 new lesson, and then it goes up. So the parent automatically has a view. Oh, my child is giving new lesson. It's consistent. It's up. If there's a dip, the parent can see, whoa, why did he not give new lesson there, right? And now basically action can be taken instead of being wait. And this is all automatically calculated for you. You don't have to do anything manually. So here is the thing I wanted to show you. This is now the history. So Muhammad has recited this. As we see, too many mistakes, live. It's an old lesson. And it was 3 minutes ago. I just captured it now. So if I click on there, the parent clicks on there, the parent gets a nice detailed view. So the parent gets the Jews, the old lesson, the percentage that was received, and the parent gets the comment from the teacher, and the parent can now also see the breakdown of each quarter, how it went. And in future, we're going to add a button here that just says, I've acknowledged, like I've reviewed, and then they click, and then the teacher will get the indication that the parent has reviewed basically the lesson, right? So that's basically the parent application. That's what they get, nice graphs. So I'm going to add a new lesson for Muhammad now. Let's just go back to the book there quick. So now for Muhammad, I'm going to capture a new lesson. Right? So let's say I go back there, click on Muhammad Khan, I capture new lesson. Now the good thing about the new lesson is it will remember what the last verse Muhammad recited was. So if I click on verse to verse, it will take me to the, okay, basically let's just do a double capturing because I probably played around with Surah Fatiha earlier. So let's say Muhammad is now verse 6, right? Surah An'am, he starts here. And then I say proceed, right? So now in here, I can now basically, as he's reciting his new work, I can press yes, 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 and that. And then I click proceed. And then it asks me, where did he stop? And then I can say he stopped there. And then now it asks me the number of lines. So this is just random, 12 lines. I'm sure that wasn't 12 lines, but I'm just putting in that there. And I can say making mistakes, not like whatever the teacher wants to comment, you can put in here, right? Like making mistakes. And then you press proceed. And then now when we go back to the parent app and the parent logs on, and the parent basically just, the parent goes back and he goes back to Muhammad. You will see now there for the 13th, which is today, Muhammad has given 12 lines, right? So now the parent can automatically just see a nice graph of what's happening for the past week. And inshallah, we'll add where you can go 30 days back, where you can go a year back, and you can get a nice graph of basically how the sabak trend or the new lesson trend of a child looks like. And then you can also see it's been added to the history. And if you click on a new lesson, now the parent gets a nice view. It started as Surah 6, verse 6 to Surah 6, verse 21. Right? And then it gives you the percentage, 86%, and then it gives you the comment, making mistakes. And then it also nicely gives you started at what verse the child started at and stopped at what verse the child stopped at. So now the parent can open the Quran, they can go to this particular surah and they can see, oh, nice, you gave, and basically everything is going, and it keeps the parent engaged, right? So that's basically capturing of a new lesson. And then basically we went through that. So also here, as you can see, we have this could not complete, right? So let's say you recite, and let's say we go boys, we go Muhammad Khan, and we go start capturing, we go new lesson. And remember I told you, it's going to take me to the last verse that basically he recited in his sabak. So as you can see here, we're back at Surah An'am. So I don't have to like scroll down and things like that. So now I click started there, I say proceed. Now the sabak is reciting and Muhammad is just making mistakes. So now I don't want this to be in the thingy and it's going to show a negative percentage because it's deducting the whole time a big percentage. So I can just mark this as incomplete, right? And let's say he maybe stopped there. And then we say 0 lines, and then we just say, way too many mistakes here, right? No, I don't know, no games or whatever you know of the child. And then that's it. So now this appears could not complete, right? You see that automatically, way too many mistakes. And this is your dashboard. And you can filter in the dashboard, like if you want to see a particular class, why is it showing there? You can show the boys class, or you can show the girls class, or you can show all, right? So normally it's supposed to pop up here on the phone. That's basically the gist of QuranBook. And you have, again, as you mentioned, your analysis. Oh, so the one thing we wanted to do, come back to, is juice completion. So under juz completion, earlier on, we were here at Fatima Ahmad. I know that this is boys and girls, and then there's a Fatima Ahmad in the boys class. Basically, I just created the students randomly, and they were assigned to the wrong classes. But in your school, you'll do the proper job, inshallah. So yeah, we mentioned when it comes to a juz completion, you can mark a juz as completed. So let's say, for instance, this juz, she completed before using QuranBook. So she may be 10 juz now when the school starts using QuranBook. I can just put a comment here, completed before starting or before using this app. Right, so this child completed this before using this app. You say save, done. So now you see you can't capture a lesson here. So there's no attempts because it's already completed. But now let's say this just two is a busy completing now with this app. Right, so start the process. Let's just say for completion of juice. Right now you say save. Now I can add a lesson to this juice completion. If I click on lesson now, I can now say how I want to capture this juice completion. So now when they're done with the juice, right? So I want to see now how do you do it. So let's say I do it again in quarters. I say proceed, and as the child decides, I do that, I do that, I do that. I go next quarter, I go next, I press, and then I say proceed, and then I say not too good, right? Can't move on to next juice, right? So we just say that, say proceed, done. Now, if I go back to completions, choose completions, sorry, let me just do this rather. Go back to the dashboard. I can just click on her name, click on completions, and then we see it there, right? So now in here, I can now see she attempted this one attempt. You can see that now, right? So 1 minute ago, this was attempted, not too good, can't move on to next use. If I want to see more information of this, I can just click on there, and it will show basically 40%. That's not good for the juice completion, can't do that. Now we go back, and now let's say another week went, or another day went by, and now the next day she comes again, and I want to capture it again. So the next day I can come back, I can capture it, and then I can do that, then I can do that, then I can do that, and I can say proceed, and I can say, I can say even more mistakes this time. Right? Like whatever the situation is. So you click on there, you go to completions. Now you see there's 2 attempts to basically complete this juice. Right? So until you are satisfied with the, let's say the 3rd time now they come back and now they recite. First juice goes well, first quarter goes well, second quarter goes well, third quarter goes well. Now they're in the last quarter, and basically in the last quarter now, she just makes one mistake, and now she proceeds. And now you say, MashaAllah, well done. Well done, all right? Whatever the comment is, and then you say, proceed. And now you can go back to that student completion, and then now in here, because you're now happy with that, so it was less than a minute ago, then you can press update, and you can say complete, save. Now you can't capture lessons anymore, so now this juice is complete. Now you know that when this juice was completed, there were 3 attempts. And you can now, you have record of all 3 attempts, how they came through this juice. So let's say now in the future, right, a child is struggling with the juice. You can come back to this juice completions and you can see how did this child complete this juice. Because every time you're struggling with a particular juice, like it must be something wrong with that section or something like that. So that's basically the demo of QuranBook. I'm going to stop there for now because I feel like I'm getting more and more excited now. So let's go back to the presentation. Where is my presentation? There it is. Right. So this is my presentation. So basically, what are we developing now in the future, going forward for QuranBook as time goes by? We'll be adding exams, as we said, as you saw there. We already have exams, but we're gonna change how exams work. We're gonna add rounds. So round is basically a way where you create a round. Like just as we did with completions now, you can capture a couple of, you can capture a completion, multiple lessons against a completion. With rounds, you will be able to capture, let's say you want a child to recite the 5 juz, you want them to do a round of that 5 juz. So you create a round and all that 5 juz is linked to that round, and then you get a percentage for that round. How well did they do in that round? Then the next time when they do another round, you can now compare. Is this round better? Did it improve? And things like that. And then we're also adding attendance tracking. So basically, if the child is absent, not absent, so your parent can get information and you don't have to go back and forth. Fees and finance management and many more features, inshallah, to come, right? So basically, QuranBook, as we said, it is an application that's been developed. So what's the cost? There is a cost involved. So it's basically 20 Rand per student per month, right? So if you think about it, you're saving a whole lot of time for parents and teachers, and there's a lot of headaches that's being saved, right? So for less than the price of a cup of coffee for the month, you basically can get access to everything and over a long period of time, right? So the way forward basically is that we would like everyone to join the QuranBook community and help us develop this application into something that is amazing, inshallah. And basically, we're not going to take everybody on now. We have a waiting list of schools that are joining. So basically, you join the waiting list as we develop, and then you get access to the application, and then you start using it, and you provide us feedback. So we launched the app already last year with small number of schools, but this year we want to take it to more schools. But you must note that it is still under development still, but we already have a whole set of features that can be readily used by schools. So the WhatsApp number that we sent you the Zoom link on, if you are wanting to be added to the wait list, we're going to add you to a WhatsApp group. And in that WhatsApp group, what we're going to do is we're going to update weekly the progress of QuranBook, like what we've done in this week, what we do the next week, like basically every feature as we go. We'll update the group and then we'll tell you, okay, this has been added, this has been added. We're now taking on another batch of people, like another 5, another 10 of schools. Is your school interested? And then, inshallah, we take it from there. So if your school is interested in using QuranBook and you want to be of the foremost people, just WhatsApp this number and say, I want to be in the line. And then basically, as you indicate you want to be in the line, we will add you to the line, and then we will basically grant you access to the application and things like that. So shukran everyone for joining this meeting and taking some time out. And yeah, we know that your time is very valuable, and it's the end of the holidays, and you could be spending this time with your family. We appreciate you coming to this meeting. So I will open the floor for questions now. So anyone that has questions, I have been talking for a long time. I'm going to listen and try and answer the questions that you have to the best of my abilities, inshallah. Okay, floor is open for questions. Bismillah. Oh, my
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Sheikh, I see there's a very pertinent question there in the chat as well. If Sheikh can maybe take a look at that.
Let me have a look at the thing here. It says here, Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is it only my screen that is always in sync with what is being said? Okay, I didn't see that. Mine is in sync. Mine is in sync as well. Probably my network. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Where does the info get stored? Is it secure? Yes, so the information is stored in the cloud. It is secure, and every person has their own user information, and they basically access. So I didn't give background, too much background about myself, but as I mentioned in the beginning, alhamdulillah, I have been working in the software industry for more than 10 years now. So I started my career in the school management system called EduSystem that I developed, that is used by multiple schools now, alhamdulillah. And then from there, I went to work at a auditing company that has basically the idea was just security. And then from there, I worked at the payment company that basically did payment processing for countries across Africa, developed an application that converted mobile money into card. So, and then from there, I moved on to working at a book publishing company called Snaplify, and I manage all the infrastructure to date. Right? So everything, security, compliance, I manage all that. So alhamdulillah, basically all that experience over the 10 years and the current QuranBook is benefiting from that. Alhamdulillah. So that's the. I hope that answers your question, Muhammad, with regards to the data being stored and the secureness of it. Okay, let's see more questions in the chat. In case of a crash, what does it mean in case of a crash? In case of a crash. If there's a crash, we will resolve it. Alhamdulillah, Sheikh, we didn't have any crashes last year, really. But Alhamdulillah, the app was running quite smooth. And then, Salam, are there login details for parents? Yes, so each parent get login information for their student automatically when you add them, and then they can only see their student information. So they're not going to see any other student information. And will recording of the session be made available? If you want this to be available, yes, I can make it available to you. You can just WhatsApp the number and this number, and then we'll send you the recording, inshallah. And where was I now? If a parent wants to do home checks without the school system involved, due to parent being a teacher, can this be customized for home study as well? What exactly does that mean? Like, if you want to use it at home and you're the parent and the teacher, you'll have to log into both apps and do that, inshallah. That's what I assume you're asking. Sheikh Muneer, Sheikh, this is a question for you. How much time does it take up to input the information per learner?
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. On that question, Jazakallah for the question. Subhanallah, while the student is reading, so as he reads, the minute he makes the mistake, we will mark it. And as it go on, so basically, the minute he or she walks away from you, you enter in the comment and then you press complete. So it's not a tedious process, alhamdulillah. Quite simple. I don't know if you're familiar with how we used to do with Sheikh Yusuf Bulli, Allah yarhamu. We had the page where you must write mistake, told, stuck, and everyone you then mark off. But with this, the app gives it readily available, so the teacher has the device, a tab in front of him or her, and then as the mistake is made, they will click on it. And the minute the student leaves, a comment will then also be input. It will be submitted. And even when I'm sitting, for example, in my office, and I have this thing in front of me, I can see as a principal of a school what's happening in multiple classes on the dashboard at the same time. So then I will be able to maybe say, hey, this one hasn't been reading brilliantly, so come to the office or something like that after we see it's necessary. But it's a very simple process, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Shukran, Sheikh, for answering that. There's another question there. The data is definitely private, so no third party get access to your data. We don't share the data with anyone else. Basically, we store the data in a secure cloud environment. Everybody has login access, and basically you can access it on your phone and laptop and TV, as you mentioned earlier. So it is not shared, like we're not like Google or TikTok or whoever that shares your information with other companies to make money of it. That's not what we do. Basically, the idea is that all the data is just used for the application purposes and for communication with parents. Any other questions? If that is it, then I think, inshallah, we can have a nice early wrap-up of the meeting. Okay, we're going once, twice. Let me just check the chat again. There is a message that just came in. Oh, that's not showing on me on my side. Okay, so the chat here. How can this app be used with an ordinary madrasa, no hifth? So ordinary madrasa, shukran that you asked that question. We actually have a different application for that, right? For ordinary madaris, where you can track attendance, you can track exam marks, you can create assessments, you can create reports. Basically, we will have a launch for that application also soon, inshallah, in the coming weeks, But if you want to stay on this call and you would like to see that application, just a quick view of that application as well, then you are more than welcome to do so. You can just give me a thumbs up if you want me to just quickly show you that application after this meeting is done. And like, not in depth like we did this one, just a quick view. But inshallah, I know that something for madrasa specifically, for emailing reports, emailing statements. We already have an application like that. Alhamdulillah, it's been existent for 9 years. Many madaris have been using it and schools. Okay, so Sheikh Muneer, since each learner has his personal device, would there be a danger of teachers also getting lost in their devices with personal issues and deviate from madrasa work? Sheikh.
Jazakallah Maulana for that message. We have found that a problem initially, where we allowed each educator to use his or her own mobile device. And what would then happen is the WhatsApp message will come along the screen and they just quickly answer, and then you see they lose track, or it gives them a reason to have the phone in their hand. Hence, we as an institution took the decision that no educator is able to use the device on his or her own device, meaning on your mobile device. So we give you the teacher a tab, a cheap tab. It's on the tab and nothing but that is on the tab. So they can only be using it for my Quran book and nothing else. We did have the problem, alhamdulillah. I did discuss it with Sheikh Abdullah. There was one of the teachers who said, let's try and develop something within the app that lets you know as an overseer the minute they log out of the app. So for example, they're on the app while a student is reading and they are basically gathering that information, and then now log off to check a message and then log back on. It will give you an indication. But I thought, okay, for us as an institution, we've taken the decision. We give each one their own tab, and that's for my Quran book, and that's it. So alhamdulillah, since then we've had no problems with a phone call coming in or anything other than that, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Abdullah. Just wanted to know, in terms of parents receiving, so if I've logged, I know previously I've tested the app 2 years ago with you in its infancy stages. With regards to logging in something, is the information still coming via email that the parent will get a notification, or is it separate notification?
So now, the parent gets a notification via the app. So as we showed earlier, the parent has their own application, right? So when they log in, they basically see their student information, and they basically get access to all this continuously. So it's not like it's just an initial. When we started it out, yes, it was where the parent got an email, but that was the real MVP. And I think the time you were in Joburg with yourself and other teachers. So, but now they have their own app, mashallah.
Jazakallah.
They will get notifications on there. And the other question there, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh, is the app able to generate an automatic report, or would the teacher need to use information to compile the monthly report? Nope, the app will do everything automatically for you, right? So as we saw earlier, all the analysis, the percentages, everything is generated automatically for you, right? If you go to lessons and we go to analysis, automatically we see the information here. Now, yes, this just shows analysis currently and a breakdown of new work and all that. But as we mentioned, we will be adding more features like reporting capabilities. Like you can basically see, give me a dashboard of how this child's work looked like over the last month. And you'll see like a calendar to show you how many new lessons, what the state. So basically we have the data now. Now it's just a matter of how we want to display it. So currently we've got the analysis tab here, the overview of a class. You click on there, gives you overview of each student. You can see the new lessons, what the percentage is, recent lesson percentage, old lesson percentage. You can click further in and it will give you more information. What's the overall average for this child, where this child is struggling in new work or old work, and it gives you a breakdown of everything basically. So it's like, I think that the idea that some people are still conflating it with is the paperwork. Now the paperwork, you have to draw up stuff here. You don't have to draw anything up. It's automatically calculated for you. Any other question there? from where do you download the app? So basically the application is you would basically go to like the QuranBook website itself. So let's say I log into my.QuranBook. Right? So this is my QuranBook. So automatically when you log into the browser to QuranBook, right, what then happens is you can just click on this install, right, and then you just install the app. And the app is automatically installed. So now basically it's now a computer, right? It's not anymore a web browser, right? So it's on your phone, it's the same. So if you go now to myquranbook.co.za on your phone, it will automatically show you the login information, like to automatically ask you to install the application, right? And as I said, that allows us to install the application anyway and with ease, and we can also make changes with ease. I'm not sharing my screen. Oh, sorry. I just showed how to install the app without actually showing it. So if you go to myquranbook.co.za, so let me just show you again quick. So when you come to QuranBook, you basically have this sign up. So you have to sign in. And let's say I sign in with 3. Right, so now I'm in. And then we have this thing, something will pop up here to ask you to install the app. Now, I already installed the app, so it looks like this. If I click on there now, it asks me to open the app. So when I open the app, it looks like this now. So it's basically an application that I can use on my laptop. I can store it on my desktop, and I can access it. Right? So if you can also do it on your phone. So I'll show you on my phone. Basically, like, is it now? Is the camera? Is the camera? So as you can see, there's an icon there with QuranBook. If I click on there, it opens it up, and there it has QuranBook installed as an application on my phone. Okay, any other questions? You're not sharing your app.
Sheikh, if I may just jump in. There were questions that came from our educator side, and I think it's good for the entire room as well to understand that there's always a question of what amount of my data is it going to use and what amount of my Wi-Fi is going to be used. Alhamdulillah, we've been using it for a year, and it's minimal. I actually discussed it with Sheikh Abdullah because one of the teachers did ask Sheikh, is it going to eat through my data? Yes, we do make Wi-Fi available, but there might be load shedding and things like that. But Sheikh Abdullah has develop the app so that it takes minimal data and Wi-Fi. So alhamdulillah, it's quite cost effective as well.
Shukran for that, Sheikh. Okay, I think it's 11 o'clock now, inshallah. Shukran again for everyone for attending. If you would like to see the other application that I mentioned earlier, which is called EduSystem, that helps Madaris, which we will launch soon, inshallah, then you can stay on call. But other than that, shukran everyone for coming. Can the app be used offline? We are actively working on that. Right? Basically, making it offline capable, and then when you connect to the internet, it then sends your data to the cloud. We are actively working. So that's a bit of a intense thing to do because we need to balance the idea of communication with parents as well as being able to use it offline. So like how quick do you want the data to go? Like if the teacher, for instance, puts their phone off, like it's offline and they don't have data and they use it offline for a day or two, then it means that the parent doesn't get the communication. So we're basically building in that features. It's a nice problem for us to solve. Inshallah, in the next few months, that capability will be there where you can use the app completely offline. And then when you connect to internet, just like WhatsApp, you send a message. When you connect to the internet, it sends it. So it will send all the data then through, inshallah. Shukran again, everyone, for attending. As I mentioned, if you would like to see the other application, you can stay on and you can take it from there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Abdullah. For our afternoon madrasa, I'll stay on the line, inshallah, and check out the other one.
Okay.
If there's someone else with. But if not, I'm not going to take your
I
time.
don't know. Sheikh can stay online, even though I show Sheikh alone. We also show
La,
Sheikh,
la.
show the Sheikh alone. So just give me a second to just do some setup for that application quickly. So it's called Edu System. I'll run through it very quickly, inshallah. I will share the screen now. I didn't set up for this application, but I shall do it now. Give me 1 minute. Everything. So is nice. Okay, I think I'm ready now. I'll share my screen. This one is called edusystem.co.za. Alright, so let's share my screen. So this is EduSystem. Just let you know if you can see my screen. So EduSystem basically, I attended PwC, same process. You log into the application, and once you log in, this one is more advanced than the other application. So you have a nice big dashboard, shows the total number of males and females. So this is a test school, it's an EduSystem school, it's not the real school. And then here it shows you the number of classes that you have and students and things like that. So this has a bunch of features, right? It has a whole lot of features that if I were to go through each and every one of it, it would be exhausting. So for instance, it has attendance tracking. So let's say I go to a class. So this is a class, a school that I have. Here's all my students. And what I can do is this enough for this day. I can mark them all as present. And then what I can do is I can maybe change the attendance for this person, absent. I can say sick. I can change the attendance. I can say there's one left, he came late. Traffic, leave traffic, must leave early tomorrow. Like you can leave information like that. Oh, in this one I can say he left early. Oh, and I can also add the time here that this child came, 5 p.m. That time the madrasa starts. What time he left, I can add it. And that's it. So basically all this is saved. I can go to overview of attendance, and I can select that same class, and I can see there's Ahmad Amin, and it will basically tell me he was present on that day. And where's the other one now again that left early? That one there. I click on him, it will give me the reason. So you have a nice list of how the child's attendance was over the course of the year. And I don't know where to start. I see Tawakkal is on the call with us, one of our other developers that develops EduSystem with us. So you can get incoming applications from EduSystem, like that has to be activated for your school, and then parents can apply. So I'll give you an idea of what Darun Naim. So this is Darun Naim. So they have this application form online, and then the student comes here, they complete this form, and when they complete this form and they go to view applications, they basically see all the incoming applications. So it starts from there, from applying, and then once they accept the student in here, the school doesn't have it set up, but if your school has it set up, once they accept the student, then the student goes to this learner section. So you can filter by class. So you have all the learners, click on there, then you have all the learner information, you have the learner subjects and things like that. And let's just look at the curriculum. You have grades. So here in grade 9, you have one class, one subject that we have here. So let's say I click on here, I have one subject. Let's say I want to add another subject. I want to add a subject called Quran. Let's just call it Q. Say it's low credit or high credit. And it's calculated. I say okay. And I add another subject called fiqh. Call it fiqh. And then we say it's high credit, calculated, and say okay. So now we have those two subjects. So now in grade 9, I have one class in here. I can add another class if I want. I can add 9B. Whatever your classes names are in here, there's 10 learners, as you can see. Then I now need to assign all the students these two subjects. So I can go to learner subjects. I can click on 9A, and I can click on edit, and I can just assign, let's assign English and Quran to all the students in this class. And I say save, and it automatically saves it for me. Then I can go to assessments, and I can go to, I can go to Markbook. And when I come to Markbook, I see there's Quran grade 9. I can then click on Quran grade 9, and see I have term 1, 2, 3, 4, and final. So I have no assessment, so I can click on add an assessment. Let's say test, right? And then I say term 1, the mark is out of 50. Mark sheet column, this is if you're using Excel. And then you say okay, and the assessment is added. Then I can come to term 1, and I can say let's just add another assessment quick. So let's add another assessment here. Let's say reading, and in here we can say term 1, mark is out of 60, and click on that. You say save. So now we have that, and now I can go to term 1. So term 1, it must be weighted. I want these two assessments to be added. This one is 60%, and this one is 40%. I say save. So now when I capture a mark here, let's say you got 40, then automatically it's calculated for me. In here he got 50, and then the mark changes. And here I say he got 47, and here he got 80, 58. You see the marks are basically just coming 12, 25, and then 36, 36, 78, 79. Just entering. Oh no, sorry, that's too much. So let's say 25, and then 4, 2. Didn't do much work. 20, 20, 36. Just adding marks for all these students. Now all the marks are added for term 1. So now this is the term 1 mark for the student. Then I can go to reports, go to generate a class report. I can select 9A, term 1. I can select the whole class, or I can select one class at a time. Then I click on generate, and then it generates a report for me. So there, as you can see, so for fiqh, there's no mark in there. It's AB, so it's absent maybe. But if you add a mark, it will appear here. So for Quran, the student for term 1 got 80, 81. So this is who? Ali Al-Amin. So where's Ali Al-Amin? Let's go back to Markbook. Click on there. Go to Quran. So Ali Al-Amin got 81.3. There's 81%. So those are the marks. And then what we can also further do is, instead of now printing this report and then giving it to the child, what we can do is we can go to parents, and we can add a parent. So we already have a parent here called Abdullah Ida. So I can come here, and I can add a child here to this parent. I say edit, and add a learner. So Ali Al-Amin. Where is Ali Al-Amin? Oh, there's two Ali Al-Amins. Which one are you now? Let's just add both of them. And then we say add. So now they added, and they say save. So now it's saved. So Ali Al-Amin has been added. So now to this email there. So now we can go to email reports. I can select 9A, term 1. As you can see there, Ali Al-Amin has been assigned. And I can say email reports. And then automatically it emails the reports. Here it shows me the reports are queued. If I refresh, it will tell me whether it was delivered, whether it was opened. So it takes some time. It's queued. So I just refresh a couple of times. It will eventually tell me. So if I go, you just check my email in the meantime on my phone. See if it came through. Which email is it? 314. There it came through. So if I go here now and I type in Gmail, and let's just type in the email quickly on the side, and I go to 314 email. As you can see here, this is my 314 email, and I click on there. The report for Ali Al-Amin has arrived. I can open it, and here it is in a PDF format. Sorry, that's it. Yeah, so that's in a PDF format. And another one came now because I sent two emails. If I refresh here, you will see it was sent, it was delivered, and it will eventually say opened because I did open the reports. So that's that section's there. And then we have finance. We have analysis in here also. We have comments. You can add comments on the reports. So you can click on 9A, term 1, show Ali Al-Amin. You can add a comment to him here. Good work. And this will basically show you the green. You can comment it on. You can add subject-specific comments. So instead of a class comment, that you can add a comment to a specific subject for a learner, a particular term. And there's Ali Al-Amin again. And I can see the marks there, 81 term 1. I can say what his attitude towards learning in the subject, his work ethic, is that enter a comment, and comment has been entered. That's reports, and then we have finances. Finances basically allows you to capture payments as normal, like billables, capture payments, email statements to parents. And then we have incidents. So incidents basically allows you to capture any incident that happened. Maybe let's say a fighting, right? Reported by, who was it reported by? Let's say it was reported by me, the description, children fighting, and then the type, you can say it's behavior, severity is high, occurred at, when did it occur, on that date, so that's a future date, it occurred on that date, and you can basically just select all the students that were involved, so you can select more than one student, and then you can add more detail here, this one, or you can say she started the fighting, and you say save. So it gives you a nice, so now you can see there's a fighting incident that happened. It was behavior, it was high, it happened on that date. These are the kids that were involved. This one's the person who reported it. This is the person who created it. And you can go to incident reports, and it gives you a nice breakdown. You can now see how many incidents each child is involved in. And then you have meetings. So if you have meetings with parents, you can basically capture the meeting. So let's call it lack of progress. And then in here, you can say student is not performing well. And you can have a whole lot of notes in here, what the parents say about the child and things like that. And then in here, you can say maybe needs to see a psychologist, like whatever you want to add in there. And then the category, is it academic? Was it this? You can add your own categories in this section here. I'll show you there now. You can add the learner, who it is. You can add when the meeting occurred. You say save. So now you basically have a list of all the meetings you had with the parents. So it doesn't mean like writing it in a paper, in a book. It's like a nice way to keep track of everything. In the settings section, you can set all the information as you wish. That's QuranBook. I think it was a bit longer than expected. Or rather, sorry, this is EduSystem. It was longer than expected. If there's any questions on that, inshallah, you're more than free to ask. But I think I'll stop the presentation there for now. Inshallah. Any questions on that? What is the cost of the system per month? So this one, it varies, right? Because it's not like QuranBook is built specifically for Hifth schools. So it's 20 rand a month per child, that's done. This one here, you can use it in many different ways. So we're actually still finalizing the costs for this system. It's going to be way cheaper than QuranBook, right? Because there's so many features, there's so many different ways. So basically, that's why we said it's going to be launching soon. Like we're going to be launching it to Madaris soon. In the next coming weeks, we'll have a presentation with the cost and everything involved, inshallah. Any other questions? Okay, there's no more questions. Sheikh Muneer, is there any questions from your side, Sheikh?
No, I'm good. Jazakallah, Sheikh. Barakallahu feekum.
Shukran, Sheikh, for attending, and everyone else. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow you to have a fruitful year in teaching, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.